What was that thing about Trump running into glass? Epstein said that Trump was so distracted by the sight of little girls in bikinis on the other side of a glass door that he ran right into it and left a nose print on the door. Pepe Le Pew, you know? He caught the scent of little girls outside and floated towards it and ran right into the window.
It's unbelievable that for 7+ weeks, Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva was elected in late September decisively, has been denied the ability to serve more than 800,000 people in Arizona. And why is that the case? It's because Republicans are running...
Go away, Jeffries. Actually, this is the only time he's cooked.
...a pedophile protection program. They are intentionally hiding the Jeffrey Epstein files, but those days are over.
It's true. The only reason Grijalva has been not sworn in the past 2 months, which is again insane and a violation of Mike Johnson's responsibility as head of the House, and should lead to, if not criminal charges, at the very least severe punishments within the House. But of course, the law doesn't matter. So what are you going to do? It was explicitly being done because her addition to the House would have provided the one additional vote necessary to get the Epstein files released.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have to, and then they get confronted with that kind of stuff all the time. Is it a distraction? Absolutely. I mean, this is, I think, what Mike Johnson has been trying to avoid all along. And I don't know that he could ever really avoid it. And I actually think it was a bit of a misstep to delay swearing her in, to delay a vote on this resolution or bill or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. As Kevin laid out, this isn't really going anywhere. I mean, the House Oversight Committee, as we've learned today, is already investigating these things. So I worry that too much attention has been paid to this discharge petition, which again would force a vote on this, but isn't likely to materially change any of the information that we are going to have one way or the other. Mike Johnson, I think, has by trying to delay this situation, has only elevated it and created...
That's probably true. Yeah. I mean, now it's been delayed to the point now where there's tens of thousands more emails out there. And now you have all the drama with Grijalva, and you have them trying to like blackmail Lauren Boebert in the Situation Room to get her to flip her vote. Like it's turned into such a big... Unironically, I wonder if it all would have blown over easier if a while ago Donald Trump had just been like, yes, I was friends with Epstein. Yes, I'm a pedophile. That's it. Let's move on. And then, like, I wonder if that actually would have, like, in the long run, been less destructive than what's happening now. I don't know. I mean, at a point.
So many questions about why he's not swearing her in or what's the delay. I think at some point they just need to kind of clear this out. I do also want to stress, though, this is remarkable that the Oversight Committee Republicans are the one who...
Don Bacon says yes? He wasn't one of the yeses before, right?
Congressman Bacon, thank you so much. And just to be clear, I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You will be voting yes on releasing the Epstein files if it makes it to the floor, and you believe it will.
If it goes on the floor, I get a lot of pushback. Why don't you put your name in the discharge petition? And
oh wait, he said he's not voting for the discharge petition, but he will vote for the release if the petition passes. Okay, no, never mind. He's being a pussy fence sitter. He's basically saying, I don't want to be part of the wave that puts it on the floor, but if it goes to the floor and it's already out there, then of course, yeah, sure, I'll toss my vote in there. It's still not nothing, but if the vote passes the discharge petition, it's likely to pass through the House anyway. That being said, if it goes through discharge petition and a bunch of House Republicans end up shifting over and voting for it, that'd be pretty funny.
I'm just going to be subtle in my response. Just look at all the few Republicans are on it and who they are. It's going to come on the floor. I will vote yes.
Got it. All right, Congressman Bacon. Thank you very much, Congressman Bacon. Thank you so much.
It would be pretty funny. It would be pretty funny. Why is Clinton trending? Oh, you know.
One more. You recently said you checked with President Trump about why he needs to get an MRI on his recent trip to Walter Reed. Do you have any more detail on that?
I do, and I'm glad you asked. As stated in the memo provided on October 10th, President Trump received advanced imaging at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of his routine physical examination. The full results were reviewed by attending radiologists and consultants, and all agreed that President Trump...
Yeah, he was doing great.
Britain's former Prince Andrew to testify on the Epstein scandal. I was just wondering if President Trump thinks that former Prince Andrew should indeed come and testify to Congress on that.
I haven't spoken to him about that specific matter, but I can ask him and get back to you.
That'd be so funny.
Stephen, go
as
ahead.
well, if the president is considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Again, he's answered this repeatedly. It's not something he's talking about or even thinking about at this moment in time. I can assure you of that.
That's not a no. You hear that Ghislaine Maxwell right now at this moment is actually getting her shit topped off sloppy style. She's getting special treatment in prison. She was already moved from a high to a low security prison, but since then, look at this. Federal wardens said to be helping Ghislaine Maxwell with paperwork for a commutation application. A prison official says he is sick of being, quote, her bitch, and she's enjoying Camp Fed's food and amenities. She's getting special treatment. Came from a whistleblower at Camp Bryan, the women's federal prison in Texas, where Maxwell was transferred to in July. Transferred to the minimum security facility after meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, a move that some lawmakers suspect could be part of a deal that Maxwell has engineered in order to be released or pardoned. In a letter Sunday to Donald Trump, Representative Jamie Raskin, a Democrat from Maryland, called upon Trump to provide answers about Maxwell's preferential treatment, saying that the deference and servility to Maxwell at the Texas facility is so egregious that one of the top officials at Camp Bryan said that he is, quote, sick of having to be Maxwell's bitch. It's pretty obvious what's happening here, right? Maxwell has, obviously, a bunch of dirt on Trump. Trump is aware of that. So after the Epstein file stuff really started taking off, Trump sent a liaison from the DOJ to go talk with her and essentially say, hey, we cool? And she said, yeah, sure. Just move me to a nicer prison. And since then, they have been putting pressure on the prison to treat her extra super duper nice so that she doesn't leak any information to the press. Fun stuff, right? It's so cool how openly corrupt everything is. Yeah, it's great. The most transparent administration in history, they're calling it. Federal law enforcement staff working at the camp and waiting on Miss Maxwell hand and foot, wrote Raskin, the ranking Democrat on the committee. Raskin claimed Bryan's warden is helping Maxwell with a commutation application by copying and scanning documents for her and has facilitated Maxwell's guests' requests to bring computers into the prison, presenting a security risk and the potential for Miss Maxwell to use a computer to conduct unmonitored communications with the outside world. Insane! Insane! The number 2 operator for the world's most infamous child sex trafficking ring, and they're allowing her to have unmonitored communications to the outside world. We all know who she's talking to, right? We all know she's talking to the administration. That's probably why she's continuing to get good treatment in there. There's a reason they moved her to a prison in a red state. Well, actually, it's probably not actually necessary because it's federal officials either way, but, you know.
More outrage building among Jeffrey Epstein's victims as we learn that his convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, is reportedly seeking a commuting of her sentence from President Trump. That's according to a whistleblower who also gave House Democrats details about how Maxwell's move from federal prison to a prison camp.
She's likely not only talking to the admin, but past contacts from the industry as well as trying to settle debts and move money. Yeah, 100%. Keeping the job alive. Yeah, absolutely.
Come with some extraordinary perks.
What we've just learned is that she has been receiving basically Club Fed or Trump Hotel style treatment, concierge style treatment. She's had meals delivered to her cell, basically room service in prison. She gets to use the exercise facilities whenever she wants. She's got special arrangements where she's working with the warden to send materials to her defense team. It's an extraordinary situation.
Add to that one more perk for the convicted sex offender, puppy time. According to the whistleblower, an inmate who trains puppies to become service dogs was instructed to provide one to Maxwell for a time so she could play with the puppy, even though neither inmates nor staff are ordinarily allowed to pet the service dogs in training. Joining me now, an attorney representing 11 of Epstein's victims, Eric Fudali.
It's all such like weirdly minor stuff, no pun intended, but the fact that she can do all of it and whatever she wants points to, like unambiguously points to, a level of preferentiality that could have only been granted by the Trump administration. There's nobody else with the power and motive to give a notorious sex trafficker this much leeway in prison after moving her to a low security prison.
Thank you for being with us. Wondering if you've spoken to your clients about this and what their reaction is to these reports of this special treatment for Ghislaine Maxwell, including puppy time.
Yeah, I mean, their reaction is it's profoundly devastating. Ghislaine Maxwell does not deserve puppy time. Ghislaine Maxwell does not deserve anything but to be rotting behind bars. She is a convicted child sex trafficker. She was convicted in a court of jury of her peers in New York, a full trial. She put on a robust defense. She was convicted of tricking 14-year-old girls into having sex and becoming sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. She belongs in a maximum security prison where child sex traffickers belong. She does not deserve any special treatment, and it's just profoundly devastating, disappointing, and re-victimizing for the victims to have to hear what sort of treatment she's getting.
Well, NBC News also reported on an email in which Maxwell describes being much happier since her transfer to the prison camp. She also is reportedly seeking a...
I'm so happy to hear that. Again, Democrat media could be riling on this 24/7. It's insane to me they haven't talked about how this is the Trump administration either. Again, that's not conspiratorial. There is absolutely no other entity that could... You meet with the deputy attorney general, and then you get transferred to a low security prison, and then everyone in the prison starts being nice to you at a federal facility. Like, there's no other explanation for it. Name them, implicate them.
Commutation from President Trump. Do you think he might reduce her sentence for sex trafficking?
Unfortunately, I can't rule it out. I mean, and that's how absurd this whole situation is. You know, we're constantly hearing about, the two systems of justice
being sworn on CNN. Okay, I'll see the VOD in a second, man. I'm covering this right now.
In our country, justice for the rich, justice for the poor. Under the Trump administration, there is a third tier of justice, and that is justice for those who are friends with Donald Trump. It has become very clear that there is a different set of laws, there is a different set of justice for anyone who may be friends or someone who may even say nice things for Donald Trump, because we consistently see him pardoning his friends, pardoning people who are nice to him. And if Ghislaine Maxwell is pardoned or has her sentence commuted by Donald Trump, the only possible explanation will be that Donald Trump is pro-sex trafficking, and anyone who supports him after he does that is pro-sex trafficking. There is simply...
Based. Thank you. Holy shit. It's so rare to hear, like, balls on the table rhetoric from anyone not on their side of the table. Or, sorry, their side of the table, I suppose.
No other explanation.
MSNBC is reporting that Speaker Mike Johnson has told House Republicans that with the government shutdown presumably coming to an end, his first order of business will be to swear in Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, who, as you know, would be the decisive signature forcing a vote on releasing the Epstein files. What would that mean to the victims you represent?
It would mean a lot. The victims are not asking for much. These survivors are just asking for justice. They're asking for accountability. They're asking for closure. They want accountability and exposure of those who have facilitated and perhaps even abused along with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's really what it would mean. It would mean accountability. It would mean exposure. And probably the most important for these survivors is closure. They are tired of having to see Jeffrey Epstein's face every time they open their phones or turn on the TV, see him dance.
That does suck, man. Man, imagine being one of the victims raped by Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. I don't know if that happened. Just imagine if there were. Every time you open up your feed.
Around and leering at women with Donald Trump in that video that keeps replaying over and over. They deserve closure. They deserve to be able to move on with their lives without the constant reminder of Jeffrey Epstein and the special treatment that he continues to get beyond the grave.
So the House Oversight Committee, in addition, now believes it can enforce a subpoena for Maxwell and ask the questions that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche did not when he interviewed her. So what are the questions your clients most want her to be asked?
I'll be perfectly honest. I think she's had plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to have a platform and to say and to deny the things that she's been convicted of. I don't believe my client...
I will say one of the few things that's happened recently with regards to the Epstein files that I found optimistic was that Ghislaine Maxwell did lie when speaking to the Deputy Attorney General, and she said that essentially Donald Trump has never done anything wrong and nobody cared. Like, even Republican media couldn't run with that, because what are they supposed to say? Convicted child sex trafficker defends Donald Trump, It's obvious that the administration was kind of banking on that. Like, maybe we can get Ghislaine Maxwell to vindicate you. Well, she's still been convicted of child sex trafficking, and pretty much everyone agrees that she's guilty of that. There's not really much of a, she did nothing wrong movement there. So even though she did lie to protect Trump, it didn't really matter. Didn't really move the needle, you know? Yes, the fact that she's been convicted of perjury doesn't help.
Clients want her to have any more spotlight, any more of a platform. She's a convicted child sex trafficker.
Hold on, is this saying Trump's staying at Epstein's as president? Yes, there is an email, at least one email, that was leaked today by House Republicans, which pretty clearly implies that Trump was over at Epstein's even after becoming the president of the United States.
What more could she possibly say? We know she's not going to throw anyone under the bus. We know she's going to protect Trump in this administration. She already did so in her little...
Wouldn't that be nearly impossible? Yes. I think that it speaks more to her expectations because it was pretty deep into the first year of his presidency. It's not entirely impossible. It also depends on like what facility we're talking about. They live like 3 miles from each other. Yeah, but the president's movement is tracked. It's very difficult to sneak out anywhere as president, you know? My guess is that Trump never visited Epstein's place after becoming president, but that he was over at Epstein's place often enough in like the run-up to him being president that the girls there expected to see him there after he was president. That would be my guess. Once you are the president, it's pretty difficult to sneak out anywhere, you know?
Interview, if you could even call it that she had with the DOJ. I don't believe she deserves even to have a hearing. She doesn't deserve to be the center of attention. She deserves to be behind bars, rotting where child sex traffickers deserve to be.
So I guess for anyone out there that has any shred of human decency, they would like to see happen what the survivors would like to have happen. Is there some outcome of this? Obviously, besides not having her sentence commuted, that they think would at least give them some sense of justice?
Certainly, they've been denied justice for decades and decades. Over the years, they've been denied justice. They were denied justice in 2008 when Alex Acosta had Jeffrey Epstein, had him in his grasp, and then allowed him to continue to sexually abuse.
Responding to a 2017 message that Trump was, quote, so gross, Jeffrey Epstein said Trump was, quote, worse in real life and up close. Oh my God. Between Kathy Rumier, or Remler, I can't tell if that's an I or an L, Remler, Trump is so gross. From Epstein, worse in real life and up close. Then she says, hard to imagine. He really does remind me of MacGyver and I'm suffering PTSD. If he MacGyver, are you Marla Maples? No, I rank much lower. Sorry, that's boomer slop. I never watched MacGyver. I think I watched one episode once. I don't really. Wasn't there a report a year ago that Trump just smells really bad in person? There have been multiple reports, yeah. That Trump just smells like reeks. I mean, look at him. Christ, it's not hard to believe. More Trump being hated by Epstein. Is this one saying Trump is staying at Epstein's in 2018? To Jeffrey Epstein from Larry Visosky. Do you think New York on Monday is still possible? I guess it makes sense to leave the G550 and PBI till Wednesday, then fly to Boca since Trump arrival is Friday. Should I leave my plane and PBI till Wednesday? No, it doesn't mean that he went over to Epstein's estate. It definitely means that Trump was close with Epstein's circle even after becoming president, though. Jeffrey Epstein claims he gave Russians insight into Trump. Power broker shit. Power broker shit. MAGA meltdowns are delicious. Don't send me slop account stuff. I hate Democrat slop accounts. That being said, this shit is pretty hard to defend. Trump is not giving a lot of people a lot to work with right now, you know?
Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey...
For poaching one of his little girls.
Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre...
I really wish these reporters at the White House would go over the more nasty emails. The one, if they just read out loud the one of Trump running face first into a glass door because he was distracted by the little girls in bikinis on the other side of it. Can you imagine? That would be so. What, ma'am? What do you think Jeffrey Epstein meant by this? And then just read it out loud, please, God. One of you, please, please, please.
Maintained, and God rest her soul.
Is that real? Yes, that's real.
That she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
There's some funny Peter Thiel emails as well. To Peter Thiel from Jeffrey Epstein. That was fun. See you in 3 weeks. Great. Every single evil person in this country, man, and in Israel. Phenomenal. How will MAGA spin this? Honest to God, this most recent drop is bad enough that I think it's going to, like, cut off another big block of MAGA support.